I hate to be the one to tell you this, but farms don't slow down just because you do. And this is something nobody tells you when you first start homesteading. At the time this is being filmed, I am 67 years old and I still run this place. But I'd be lying if I said I ran it the same way I did 20 years ago. That became very obvious to me after one of those long work stretches that I used to shake off without giving much notice. This time though, it cost me several days of recovery that I just couldn't afford. That was when I stopped talking about whether I could still do something and started asking a better question. Can I keep doing this? When I was younger, I didn't really think about it near as much as I do now. I just did what had to be done. If something was heavy, well, I just picked it up. If something needed fixed, I just fixed it. And if a job took all day, well, it just took all day and sometimes part of the night. I guess I thought I was invincible. Unfortunately, my knees have since informed me otherwise. And it's not always some big injury either. Sometimes it's just waking up the next morning and realizing your back, your knees, hands, and everything else are voting against your plans for the day. And for a long time, I could get away with that. But at some point, you start realizing the question is not just whether you can do something. The better question is whether you can keep doing it. And those are not the same thing. There are plenty of things I can still do one time. I still carry heavy stuff, and I can push through long, long days. But if one hard push cost me 2 or 3 days of recovery, I didn't win a darn thing. I just moved the problem. That is a lesson it took me years and years to learn. As much as I hate to say it, when you're young, hard work covers up a lot of bad planning. You can have feed stored way too far away, or gates in the wrong spot, or tools scattered all over the farm. And for a while you just call it farming. But after enough years, you realize some of that is not farming. Some of that is just a bad system. A bad system gets heavier every year. And if I had to open 3 gates, move a couple things, and walk past a tool that I forgot about to finish one small chore, that's not character building. That's just a poor setup. And fixing it doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes the smartest improvement on this farm is a gate in the right place, or a latch that actually works, or keeping tools where I can find them. Around here, sometimes it is simple as keeping feed where I need it, or making sure that I can get the tractor where I can actually get to it, or not having to walk all the way across the farm to do a 2-minute job. It may not make a good thumbnail, but 5 minutes saved every day adds up to something very real. It is one thing to fix a bad gate to save your back. It is another thing to realize you may have too many gates to begin with. Real quick, if this is the kind of real farm life that is useful to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're not showing the highlight reels here. We're talking about what it actually takes to keep a place like this running. You see behind me here, wherever they're at, calving season. May have calves the next day or two, we'll see. You know, here's something I think a whole lot about these days. Every new thing you add to the farm is just another job you've given yourself. And most of those jobs don't show up at once. They show up every day, every week, or every season. Another animal is just another mouth to feed. Another fence is another fence to maintain. Another garden row is just another row that can turn into weeds if and when, probably, you get behind. But that's not the reason to stop growing. It's a reason to be honest. Growth is fine, but growth without maintenance is just future stress. When you're younger, you can add things and outwork the consequences. But as you get older, you feel the cost of every yes you've ever said. I used to think how much can I build? Now I think about how much I can maintain. That changes everything. Over the years, I've had to rethink a lot of simple things, like where we keep our feed and how we move things, and where's the water, and whether somebody else could step in if they had to. Because every system on this farm eventually gets tested. And usually, it's not on the easy days. There is this strange idea in some homesteading circles that if you don't do everything the hard way, you're not doing it right. I had a fella tell me one time he was going to build his home in the middle of the summer during production season with an axe and a smile. Look, I don't believe this for a minute. Around here, if I can use the tractor in the garden, or the cameras watching the driveway or the animals, or the automatic chicken door, or just having feed and tools where they actually make sense, that's what I'm doing. If the tractor keeps me from wearing myself out, I'm using the tractor. If a camera saves me a trip across the property, that's what I'm doing. And if an automatic door protects the chickens and takes one chore off the end of the day, I'm using it. That's not cheating. That's just how you keep going. There is no prize for wearing yourself out faster than you had to. Another thing age teaches you is that you cannot build a farm around your best days. You have to build it around the day when you're tired, or when it's hot outside, or it's rained for weeks at a time. The day something breaks when you already had way too many other things to do, because those days are coming. When everything is going good, almost every system that you have works great. But a farm does not test your system on the easy days. It tests it when you're behind, or tired, sore, or dealing with a whole bunch of stuff you didn't plan on. That is why I care so much more now about access, water, gates, and simple systems that make sense to somebody else besides me. Because when the day is already going bad, the last thing you need is a setup that makes everything else harder. The older I get, the less interested I am in building something that only works when everything's going right. I want this place set up to survive real life. Not the perfect version of real life, like you see on YouTube in some cases, but real life. Here's something most people never think about when they're dreaming about homesteading or farming. If only one person knows where everything is, what everything does, and what needs to happen every day, that's not a system. It's a bottleneck. We've had times when family had to step in and keep things running. And when that happens, you find out pretty quickly whether your setup makes sense to anybody else besides you. Can someone else feed the animals if they need to? Can they find what they need when they need it? Do they know what normal looks like? Do they know what needs attention? That matters more than most people realize. Because a farm should not fall apart just because one person is unavailable. And honestly, building a farm that the next generation can step into is part of the point. Here's what this life is actually for. I want this farm to feed us. I want it to teach the grandkids. I want it to keep us active and give us purpose. But I don't want it to consume us. A homestead should serve the family. The family should not become a slave to the farm. At 67, I'd rather do fewer things well than have too many things that I'm constantly falling behind on. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Because the goal now is not the biggest homestead we can build. The goal is one we can actually keep. One that still feeds us and still teaches the next generation. And more importantly, still leaves us enough room for us to enjoy the life we built. Getting older does not mean giving up on life. It means learning how to do it in a way we can keep moving and keep going. And I'd be curious to hear from you. If you're getting older on a farm or a homestead, What is one thing you have changed so you can keep going? I'd sure love to hear from you. From all of us here at Possum Ridge Farms, until next time, I'll see you down at the barn.